Can an ugly person be desirable to someone? I am a 27-year-old woman who has never been in a relationship, kissed anyone, or had any romantic experiences. Both men and women don't seem to find me particularly attractive or interesting, and I have never had anyone approach me. It feels as if people actively avoid me, and any attempts I've made to get to know others have resulted in disappointment. I don't believe it has anything to do with my communication skills, because based on feedback, I am considered decent at conversation. Additionally, for those who might wonder, I do take care of my appearance, maintaining a BMI of 20. I can't help but feel like I've been missing out on many experiences in life, simply because I am perceived as unattractive overall. Despite being an okay person, I have so much love to give, and I yearn to share it with someone. However, my concern in seeking a relationship is that I often witness individuals without much experience adopting an attitude of settling for anyone who is willing to be with them. I don't find the appeal in being with someone who regards me as a last resort. Why I completely gave up dating. I reside in Australia as a straight, educated, and well-traveled woman. Throughout my life, I have never been married, nor have I had children. The reason behind my decision to cease dating is the difficulty I faced in finding a man who embodies the qualities of attentiveness, kindness, and care, while also not desiring to have children. While I did encounter several men who were satisfactory in some aspects, I often found that their priorities were geared towards having children, seeking solely physical intimacy or lacking emotional availability. I acknowledge that I am not flawless, but I always gave my best whenever I developed an interest in someone. After enduring considerable pain and heartbreak, and realizing that the men I admired were consistently emotionally distant and unavailable, I made the choice to halt my dating endeavors earlier this year. I firmly believe that this decision is optimal, one for my well-being, as it has led me to discover great happiness and inner peace. Just found the same girl 1 year later. In the previous year, I, a 28-year-old male, went on a series of dates with a girl, age 26, whom I met on Tinder. My feelings for her were profound, and I hadn't experienced such a strong connection in quite some time. However, after a few weeks, she decided to end things. She had recently come out of a complicated relationship and was still dealing with the aftermath. She felt overwhelmed by her strong emotions for me and believed that things were progressing too quickly. I completely understood her perspective and held no resentment towards her. Nevertheless, I couldn't help but feel disappointed that our time together had come to an end. Consequently, I made the decision to delete all dating apps and abstain from searching for someone like her for almost a year. I simply didn't believe I could find another person who captured my interest in the same way. Almost a year later, I mustered the courage to reinstall the dating apps and began swiping once again. Remarkably, within the first 10 swipes, I stumbled upon her profile. I swiped right eagerly, awaiting a match, but to my dismay, nothing happened. Despite my disappointment, I carried on with my swiping endeavors. However, a couple of days later, a notification appeared on my screen indicating that I had matched with her. She wasted no time and promptly messaged me. We engaged in light conversation for a while, gradually building up the nerve to ask her out once more. Much to my delight, she agreed. A couple of days later, we met up and spent the evening discussing our experiences over the past year. Eventually, she offered her apologies for how she left things last year. She deeply regretted her decision and had wanted to reach out to me, but was uncertain if I would be receptive. I reassured her that there was nothing I wanted more than to hear from her again. In that moment, it felt as though a heavy weight had been lifted, and we instantly regained the comfort and familiarity we had shared the previous year. Simply being able to reconnect and converse with her was something I never anticipated, and it has undeniably brought me immense happiness. I'm scared I'll never fall in love. In my life, I have shed tears over several men, but deep down, I don't believe I've genuinely liked or loved any of them. My emotional attachment to them has primarily stemmed from my strong desire to feel cared for and valued. It pains me to think about the missed opportunities of being in a relationship where I could have been treated with such kindness and tenderness if only I had made different choices. I firmly believe that I deserve more. I yearn for the day when I find someone who can bring a sense of tranquility to my soul. However, there's also an underlying fear within me. What if if that day never arrives? What if this is all there is for me? It's important to note that I possess above average attractiveness, intelligence, and pleasantness, and I have been described as a green flag by others. People approach me on a regular basis, yet somehow this only exacerbates my feeling of frustration. Despite these positive qualities, I have not yet found someone who truly connects with me. I need interpersonal skills advice for dating. When I match with someone and we're getting to know each other, I've noticed that they often call me out on certain things. It usually happens when I share something I'm passionate about, but it may come across as gloating unintentionally. For instance, on one occasion, I mentioned my experience with running ultras and how I had to take a break due to a deviated septum. However, I eagerly expressed my plans to return to ultras once I undergo septum surgery. I excitedly shared my race goals, but their response was a comment about it being a subtle flex. This sudden shift in their tone made me question if I had come across as showing off. I hadn't run the races or qualified for anything, so I hoped they didn't interpret it negatively. Instead of offering support or expressing interest in running together, their response lacked enthusiasm. Eventually, the conversation faded and they stopped responding. Today, I was texting another person and found myself using more advanced vocabulary without feeling the need to justify it. It's just something I do sometimes. However, it seems like this person doesn't appreciate it. They keep pointing out what they perceive as fancy words rather than continuing the conversation. I'm sure if they're teasing or if there's something else going on. It's difficult to gauge emotions accurately through text alone. I am confident in my personality, but perhaps we simply don't have the right chemistry with each other. Could he be genuine or potentially using me? I am a 20-year-old female recently connected with a 29-year-old guy online who has been persistently asking me out on a date. However, I've been hesitant to accept because of my own insecurities and feelings of unworthiness, partly influenced by negative experiences with the previous guy I was involved with. During a challenging period in my life, my old friends made hurtful remarks, calling me dumb, boring, and stupid. At the time, I was already dealing with personal struggles and had more important matters to focus on before addressing my self-esteem. It was a difficult time, and I've only recently learned how to prioritize self-care. Now that I had a job lined up, my plan is to save money, move out, and dedicate myself to studying in order to pursue my dream career at a university. By immersing myself in solitude, I believe I can rebuild myself and fully focus on my interests and hobbies, which I had given up on due to the feeling inferior and insecure as a result of others' opinions. It took me until now, at the age of 20, to truly understand myself. Although I genuinely like this guy, I want to ensure that I am in the best possible state when I start dating again. I have respect for him because he isn't pushy like younger guys who relentlessly pursue you without truly getting to know you. He appears to be kind, handsome, exceptionally intelligent, and skilled. However, I currently feel like I have nothing substantial to offer, and I worry that when he meets me, he won't be impressed or will consider me childish for my unique interest in spirituality, witchcraft, conspiracy theories, herbalism, and similar topics. I've been open and honest with him about my life, including the poor choices I've made in the past, and he has witnessed my efforts to improve and acknowledge my shortcomings. Nonetheless, he claims that we share a strong connection through our text conversations. Due to past experiences of being used and mocked, I've been advised not to date until I become smart and enter university. I have also discussed my previous relationship issues extensively with this new guy, which might make him perceive me as naive.